Hey guys, welcome back to RHR Jen. I'm so glad you're here. Honk honk, everyone. Guys, I have such a good show for you today. Vengeance. That's right. We're going to be talking Meghan and her podcast reviews because, in case you missed it, I actually went through and listened to the first episode. Spoiler alert, it's dreadful. You can go back and find my review of that. But I want to get into some of the reviews that are coming in on her podcast. Woo! I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. I didn't lie when I talked about how bad it was. A lot of other people are seeing it the same way. So I want to talk about that. But first, I want to tell you about some weirdness with Harry and Court. But again, I'm Jen. Thank you so much for being here. Please do make sure you're subscribed. I'm pushing to that 200,000 spot mark, whatever. So make sure you subscribe. It really does help me out. And if you're new here, welcome. If you've been with me a long time, thank you for doing that. I really appreciate it. Now let's get into this. Guys, let me start with the Harry court case. I know a lot of you are bored by Harry. I get it. But this is worth talking about. So Daily Mail is reporting this, and I've heard several of you say this. The appeal that he's going through in the UK right now is being live streamed on YouTube. A lot of people are saying it's very boring, but they are saying that the judge is handing it back to Harry. That's great. He's not putting up with Harry's nonsense. That's great. Something weird happened today. Sorry. I'm recording this on Wednesday. This will probably go up on Thursday, but something weird happened where this woman stood up and allegedly had an outburst during court. Now, we know this court hearing is about, Harry and the security of it all. So it's interesting timing that somebody would stand up and have an outburst in court, causing Harry to be escorted out of the courthouse. So I don't know about you, but instantly my near catastrophic car chase hackles went up, meaning I feel like this is the human version of that. They like to, in my opinion, they like to stage things to try to seem like, oh, we're in so much danger all the time to get their security, covered. That's just my opinion on this. So Daily Mail reports that he was escorted from a high court hearing about his security arrangements. I just find that very coincidental. Hearing about that, he has a security incident. So they're calling the lady a bespectacled supporter, a diminutive, shaven-headed Black woman who looked to be in her 50s. And she attracted attention because she had arrived late. And what happened was Harry was walking near, and you can see right here, he passed her within touching distance. The woman suddenly started shouting what they believe to be, I support you, Prince Harry. Okay. So again, it's a coincidence that he has a security incident at a security hearing, almost like it could have been staged, hypothetically, right? In my opinion. Also interesting that it's not somebody that's like wearing a tinfoil hat saying, Harry, I'm having your baby. It's, we love you, Prince Harry. And then she ended up saying something like, you members of the press, you're the reason he's not in England. To which I say, good job, members of the press. Can we get some of you guys over here in America to go ahead and get him out of here? Am I technically a member of the press from what I do here? Yeah, maybe. So there you go. Can I help with this operation? All right, great. No, I just think the whole thing's crazy and interesting. Now, I've seen speculation going around on Twitter that it's somebody from the people are actually speculating it's somebody that is employed by Harry and Meghan. Harry and Meghan are dumb, but are they that dumb? Maybe. Remember the fires of it all. They were hugging that woman, and then the woman walked to the car with them or walked out with them, and people were speculating that she might have been one of their employees. Maybe. Nothing they do in terms of this stuff would shock me. It's in their best interest to be in security danger because then their stuff gets paid for. So it's just interesting timing. We'll just say that. Interesting timing. Ugh, I'm rolling my eyes so hard I might get eye strain. Some of the comments under this echoing what I'm saying. This is ridiculous. Obviously, she's employed by them. People saying, the government is handling this very reasonably, saying they'll take it case by case. Of course, Harry and his wife don't see it like that. I love this one. His only supporter is a mad woman. Look who he married. Probably paid to attend to create a disturbance. I wondered the same. I would love, that's the stuff I'd like to know with the squad, if there's any kind of paper trail of payments. Now, I'm not saying Harry's bright at all. Meghan's a little smarter than Harry. So I wonder if there's some sort of connect the dots. Oh, Pee Wee Herman, connect the dots. La la la. I was just talking about Pee Wee Herman with somebody, but I wondered if there's like some sort of connect the dot situation, like again, paper trail, again, allegedly, but I'm very curious about that. Now, that's the weirdness with Harry. We'll see what happens there. I'm calling BS. Again, I call near catastrophic car chase, but in human form with this, I don't believe it. We'll see what happens. I'm rolling my eyes at the both of them. Now let's talk about this, shall we? Speaking of rolling my eyes. So like I said, I actually reviewed the whole first episode. I listened because I'm a glutton for punishment. Thank you to everybody who left me kind words saying, Jen, thank you for listening to that for us. No problem. I'm here for you. I got the flock. It's cool. Don't listen. It's horrible. It really was. But Daily Mail coming out. Now, Daily Mail's been weird. They've been flip-flopping a lot lately. I've seen some theories on why they might be kind of pro Meghan, and then they kind of go back and forth. I assume it has to do with, you know, whoever pays the highest. But regardless, Daily Mail reporting Meghan Markle's ego fluffing podcast hit by more scathing reviews as chart position is revealed. Dun, dun, dun. That doesn't sound good. All right, Meghan Markle has suffered yet more critical reviews of her podcast, condemning it for giving vapid lessons in self-love and being ego fluffing conversation. Ding, ding, ding. I said the same thing. Myself and a couple of my friends listened to it, and we were messaging each other saying, oh my gosh, with this nonsense. She was so full of herself and then kept trying to play victim. If this first guest is any indication as to what we're in for, it's the same formula as the Netflix show where she invites on a guest, but the guest can only be one that's like crazy kissing hooray. That's all she wants to hear. So this woman on the first episode, Whitney was just kissing hooray the whole time. It really was like an ego fest. I love this part right here. Confessions of a Female Founder was given just 1 star by the Times after its columnist, James Marriott, was, quote, seized with an urge to beat my head against the wall. I thought that was so funny. And yeah, that's how I felt too. Again, I messaged my girlfriend out because both of us listened to this and we're like, oh my God, it's so bad. So I messaged her this and we were both cracking up at this headline. It's right. That's how we felt too. The Irish Times reviewer Laura Slattery condemned the, quote, mutual love-in of a multimillionaire and a duchess who want credit for daring to love themselves. That's, oh God, the word salad of it all. It was such a train wreck. Natalie, royal reporter for Australian, I love my Aussie geese, Women's Network 9 Honey, joked that there were certain prerequisites, it seems, that one must have before booking a guest. They need to be friends, and the guest should praise Meghan where possible. That's it. Again, I point back to that Netflix series we just came off of with Love Meghan, where that was the only formula she would adhere to. It comes after the Telegraph, the Standard, the Guardian all gave the show 2 stars amid other withering write-ups in the Express and iPaper, which saw the podcast branded an inane stream of mindless aphorisms and stomach turning. That's how I felt as well. I don't know if I'd rather listen to the podcast or eat dried flowers. That's probably the verbal equivalent of putting dried flowers on everything. Let me try that again. One key criticism was that listeners might have hoped to hear much wisdom from Meghan's guest, Bumble founder Whitney Wolfe Herd. But we get none of it because the former actress steers the conversations toward her own experience. That's exactly it. I said the same. The whole world revolves around Meghan. From my husband, meaning her relationships, she always has to tie back to herself and how they relate to her. So my husband, my friend Whit. The show now entered the Apple podcast charts, coming in at number 6 in both the US and Canada, 11th in the UK, 22nd in Ireland, 57th in Australia. That one revealed in the podcast that she had a huge medical scare. Oh my gosh, with this. I've been through this. I don't believe it. My personal opinion, I don't like to talk medical issues. I've been through this before. I don't get into people's medical stuff, so I'm not going to do it here. But I will tell you my opinion is I don't believe it. I don't buy it. She spilled some medical nonsense I don't buy. I think it's weird that she's just now bringing it out when this Whitney Wolfe Herd is claiming to have experienced this. Megan was doing the "Me too. Yeah, me too." Help me solve this, actually, everybody, right now in the comments. Tell me what I'm thinking of, because I've been Googling it and I cannot figure it out. Is it the movie Bridesmaids? What movie is it where some girl keeps saying, "Oh yeah, me too, me too. Oh yeah, I was in this and that too. Oh yeah, I was in the Brownies and the Scouts. Oh, I was in the 4-H club as well." Whatever it was. The person kept saying that, and it's driving me crazy. I cannot think of what this is from. I don't even know how to Google it because I can't remember what movie or show I'm remembering this from. So what is this from? Is this from Bridesmaids? I keep thinking you're Kristen Wiig, so I'm like, is it from Bridesmaids? I can't remember. Let me know in the comments because it's been bugging me for like 2 days. Both women discussed how they had suffered from postpartum preeclampsia. Now, you guys are so smart. You reminded me of this. I've forgotten this. Allegedly. Now, I read that book, Spare, and allegedly, if I'm remembering correctly, she's alleged to have suffered from, well, now she's claiming preeclampsia. She claimed, oh gosh, what was it now? Cord around the neck. And there was another problem too. Postpartum depression. All of these things. And I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm not. I'm just saying it's weird. It's weird. It's almost like I feel sorry for me. And almost, if one were skeptical, one might think, somebody who's being questioned about whether or not they carried a child sure has a lot of child caring related, I don't know if you call them illnesses, a lot of child caring related issues. One might say almost like somebody was trying to prove that they carried a child. Just, my opinion, just saying. Weird. Let's see here. Oh, and then a reminder too, in the book Spare, she was home in less than 2 hours after receiving an epidural too. None of it makes any sense. Not any sense. If you can make sense out of it, by God, you let me know. Again, I don't like to go into medical stuff. Maybe she's like, I don't know, some miracle case, in which case, great. I'm sure that happened. I don't believe it happened. I just had the funny comment, if it's you, thank you for that, saying somebody was new here and they're like, why do you do the blink thing? Because I can't believe the crap I'm reading. And sometimes I just need a minute. And I feel like yes, I'm talking to you. You and I are good friends. Okay. And I need to look at the camera and blink at the camera at you and be like, can you believe this? And you blink back at me and say, no, I don't believe it either. It's like we're at a party together and you're trying to make eyes at your friend or your partner or whoever. And you're just like, can we go now? Can you believe what this bitch is saying? That's what I'm doing. So when I blink at the camera, that's what I'm doing. So right now, look at me, look at the camera and just be like, can you believe this? I can't believe it either. That's what I'm doing with the blinking. Also, I blink a lot. So there's that. All right. Let's see. I read that. And where does okay, yeah, we know this. Okay, great. Mr. Marriott wrote, predictably, she has nothing to say about real business issues such as logistics, management techniques, supply chain issues. Oopsies, I clicked the wrong thing. Sorry. I guess that's it. Supply chain issues. Equally predictable, there's lots of stuff about how to love yourself, how to spread positive energy through the world. I suspect that this is not the sort of thing most small business people spend much time fretting over. No. And who is taking her advice? Tell me something successful. Tell me something she's been successful at besides estranging friends and family and nabbing an idiot prince. I'll wait. But then Meghan's business isn't really a business. It's a bit like a corporate equivalent of Marie Antoinette's dairy farm, a pleasant game of make-believe for the idle rich woman. He also poked fun at Wolf Heard's declaration that she had been on a journey of self-love and self-discovery, which resulted in her decision that I'm going to foundationally re-architect the way people date and the way that people love. Mr. Marriott wrote, by this point, I was seized by the urge to beat my head against the wall and foundationally re-architect my skull. I love that so much. I think that is so funny, and I so hard can relate to that. I said at the time, I'm a woman who's working full time and raising a gosling. It is hard work. I don't need somebody who has no idea what they're talking about, Meghan, to talk down to me and it's setting women backwards. We have been founders of business. We are good at this. This is something we can do. Meghan is not somebody that can do this sort of thing. She has no idea about stressing about this kind of stuff. No idea. Even her examples of stressing are not real stresses. She's like, I was up a week before worried about packaging. Again, blink, blink, blink. What now? A week before and packaging? It's too late. That ship has sailed. You should have thought about that stuff. It's not everybody else's fault that you decided to change the name and that you don't follow through with things and don't think out things and can't figure out why it's a bad idea to start a business out of spite. It's so crazy to me. It's so crazy. Let's see. Where did I leave off? Also he poked fun. Oh, I read that in Self-Discovery by this point. I say, oh yeah, I read that. Okay, let's keep going. The Irish Times was no less critical, saying that the podcast was ego fluffing conversation underlying the culture gap between Ireland and the US. Reviewer Mr. Slattery said Confessions of a Female Founder doesn't feature any ear-pricking insights. And it isn't about any specific business world struggles that anyone who wishes to emulate Wolf Herd's success could either relate to or learn from. That's what I said too. I learned nothing from this. Nothing. It's just bizarre. It was a weird, let's go back and feel sorry for Meghan podcast. I could see why I'd be her main first guest because she was all about kissing Meghan's A and making her building her up as a victim. It was so weird. So weird. Okay. She also mocked Wolf Herd for saying in the podcast that her jaw hit the floor, which saw Meghan was on the cover of every single magazine and newspaper at an airport in Ireland years ago. So, sorry, I clicked the wrong one. Miss Slattery added that their ego fluffing conversation combined with Wolf Herd's reminder that the royal gossip does a decent trade here too only serves to underline how the culture gap between Ireland and the US remains as wide as the Atlantic. I'd like to think I'm bridging that gap because I've been beating this drum for years too. This is crazy. This is crazy. America's finally catching on, thank God, but I was one of the early ones to catch on and say something's really wrong here. It seems unlikely to be closed by a multimillionaire and a duchess who want credit for daring to love themselves. In Australia, Nine Honeys Miss Alveri said that she was falsely drawn into the latest offering from that one. The first episode didn't actually contain any revolutionary information. No, it did not. She described it as instead a self-love between Meghan and Wolf Herd, pointed out the promise from Meghan that the podcast would have the kind of advice to turn small ideas into billion-dollar businesses was not fulfilled. Miss Alveri added that there are certain prerequisites that seem that the Duchess must have before booking a guest. They need to be friends, and the guests should praise Meghan where possible. Again, that seems to be the formula for her Netflix show as well. She cited Wolf Herd describing Meghan and Harry as, quote, elegant, iconic, classy couple. Again, that just serves to make me question Wolf Herd's taste on anything. She called them the kind of friend who always seems to know exactly what to say. What? The latest review comes after the Telegraph TV critic Chris Binion yesterday described the show as having an inane stream of mindless aphorisms with no confessions or secrets. He said that there are plenty of self-care journeys of love, self-love, and validation, discussions of bottling your essence. Yes, that's the thing that I talked about as well. Great handfuls of mutual adoration. As long as it came back around to Meghan, that's the only way it was going to work. Why do you think they're friends? Because Wolf Herd. So there's now a question about that, but it was reported in the podcast itself that Wolf Herd was a self-made billionaire, even if she was in the stratosphere of that. No wonder Meghan loves her. And And also, no wonder Meghan loves her because Wolf Herd, how do I say that nicely? She didn't paint herself as the brightest in the way that she kept kissing Meghan's A over and over and over and over again. Uh, let's see. Mr. Binion added, the frustrating thing is that Wolf Herd, who's just 35, presumably does have wisdom to impart, having been part of the team that created Tinder before she created Bumble. Imagine the drive, the talent, the decision, the sheer bloody ruthlessness it must take to achieve what she has. We get none of it. In this perfumed echo chamber, the best we get is the sense that Wolf Herd didn't love school and that she wishes she hadn't worked so hard. That's exactly the vibe she gave off. I thought that was so bizarre. She went back and talked bad, basically about herself and her experiences that have gotten to her to where she's gotten. It's kind of Meghan's philosophy, right? Just bash everybody along the way and don't be grateful for any of it. In the Guardian pop culture writer, Rachel said the sycophantic interview podcast is stomach turning. She said that whenever her guest opened up about her life, Meghan very rarely reciprocates, adding, you can understand why she's guarded, but the problem is personal disclosure fuels parasocial relationships, which are podcasting's primary draw. That's exactly it. Meghan does not have the personality. She doesn't have the ability to ask anybody any thoughtful questions. I learn every time. I'm not making this about me. I am going to. I'm going to be Meghan for a second. I don't care. Interviewing is something that I very much enjoy. It's something, these collabs I very much enjoy. And every time I do it, I feel like I get a little better than the last time because I try to really listen to what the person says, because that's the only way to build upon it and look for the right questions to ask. I'm not saying I'm great at it, but I'm learning and I'm trying and I'm paying attention. Meghan is not capable of that. She's not capable if you're thinking me, 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 me. You can't hear what the other person's saying. I think she is full of platitudes. I think she does genuinely. I think Meghan only likes herself, but she tries to like that Whitney girl because of the reasons I mentioned, because Whitney kisses her A and because Whitney's a billionaire or close to it. But Meghan is incapable of listening and building upon conversation. And I truly don't think Meghan has any sense of humor and or is quick on her feet. I don't think she could think like that. I think she's very calculated. I think she's good at landing an idiot prince, as I've mentioned, but I don't think conversation is her strong suit. I don't, especially if she's only thinking about herself. You can't have a dialogue like that. You can't go back and forth. So I think that's why when she puts it on, it reads as so fake, is because she's incapable of a regular human interaction. I've always said she's like an alien that took over and just kind of gets it a little bit wrong. Sometimes she gets it kind of right, but then it's just very wrong. And you can sense that something's wrong. That's kind of the feeling that I get as well. All right. Let's see. This person went on to write, it's hardly a manual of specific constructive business advice. It's simply an effusive chin wag between two like-minded pals that may as well have taken place behind the deluxe set of closed doors. Another 2-star review came from the Standard, in which India Block said Wolf Herd gentle parents Meghan, and said that one had been frozen in time since shutting her lifestyle blog, The Tig, in 2017 before announcing her engagement to Prince Harry. But Miss Block also said that one is generous and competent interviewer. No, I don't think so. I don't think so either. Playing up her anxieties, being the right amount of complimentary and differential to her to keep her guests relaxed and talking. Okay, I'm not hard to disagree there. I just think that Meghan displayed that she showed that she liked that Wolf Herd would kiss her A repeatedly, and so Wolf Herd would be more relaxed and she would continue to kiss her A. Do you see the cycle there? That's what I think it is. Anyway, I'm going to leave this review here. You get the idea. There's a couple more pages and they're all very similar, but you get the idea. That podcast is garbage. I'll keep going with it. I mean, at least for a couple episodes until I can't stand it anymore. But don't do it. I wouldn't do it. Don't do it. I'm excited to see as more reviews come out, not just by critics. I've been pulling like iTunes reviews. Those are kind of funny. So I'll do something with that and we'll keep looking and seeing. But guys, I'm telling you, I predict just a couple of episodes that have already been recorded, and that's that. And they'll call it a day. It's like the I keep wanting to call it Archetypes podcast. That word never rolls off my tongue, right? It's like the Archetypes podcast all over again. That thing was a train wreck. This thing is a train wreck. What are you going to do? Have some lady stand up in court and yell at Harry about it. Create a security incident. See how one plays into the other? Ugh, they really are awful, aren't they? Guys, I'm going to leave this here. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you so very much. Let me know your thoughts on all this. Let me know your thoughts, your opinions, all of it. I can go ahead and announce I have some really big collabs coming up soon. I'm working with HG. I'm so excited. That'll be up soon. I'm working with Dylan from Winning Communication. That'll be up soon. Yeah, lots of good stuff. So check back to my channel lots. And I can't wait to bring you more stuff like this. Let me know your thoughts on all this. I would like to shout out my Patreon members. Thank you so much. You very supportive flockers. You guys are the best. I appreciate you so much. I truly do. So much going on over there. I ended up going back and reviewing more of that podcast because I can be completely unfiltered over there. There's no rules. You can say anything you want. You can play anything you want. They don't care. It's just private. So I let it rip on my thoughts on this podcast, like really laid into it. So if you're interested, check that out. Lots of good stuff, lots of unfiltered opinions over there. It's patreon.com/Real Housewives Recaps. And if you're new here and you're like, what? RHR Gin used to be called Real Housewives Recaps. That's where the RHR comes from. It's also a play on HRH. See what I did there? But RHR for Real Housewives Recaps, but also, again, HRH. RHR Gin is the channel name, but the Patreon is Real Housewives Recaps. If you want to search it, you'll find hundreds of bonus videos, lots of content, supportive flockers like the one you've seen here. But guys, I'm going to leave this here. Let me know your thoughts on all this. Let me know what movie I'm trying to think of where it's like, oh yeah, me too. Me too. Yeah, I did that too. Me too. Was that Bridesmaids? I just keep thinking Kristen Wiig, but I might have it wrong. Let me know. I also thought about Friends, but I don't think it's on Friends. I don't know. Guys, thanks so much for being here. I hope you have the best day, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye. Vengeance for Her Majesty like Queen. I like that name very much. And let me know if you have a suggestion for my name. I like to put Jen in it when possible, but it doesn't have to be. Let me know. Thanks for being here. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. I look like a ballerina today. This is pink. This is not beige. No beige comments, you flockers. I don't own anything beige. When I wear light pink, sometimes people say, is that beige? No, I don't own beige. It's pink. All right. Bye.